Ready?
There we go. Okay. Good morning, Jackie. How are we doing today?
I am great. How are you?
Good, thank you. All right, so I'm continuing the series of Meet the Team. You are my next person to interview as the COO of REQ Consulting. So we just wanted to ask you some questions, get to know you a little bit better, do the proper introduction of who Jackie is. So to start off, can you tell us a little bit about your professional journey and what led you to become involved in the consulting industry?
Yes. I have quite a few degrees from the University of Alabama, and I worked at the University of Alabama for 14 years as an assistant, as a project specialist and coordinator. And so when I did an interview with Greg, he said, "You have all the experience that it takes to be the COO. You have everything, all the background, you understand people, you can do the communication, you have the education to be able to do this role." And so that's what I want to hire you as, even though I initially interviewed for a marketing position because I have a marketing master's and have been working in marketing for about 6 years.
Okay, so you went to the University of Alabama.
Yes,
And so
yes.
what was your major?
So I started out in education. I taught education for I taught English for 3 years, and I then went to the University of Alabama and I taught research, undergraduate research methods, and I received a master's in education and secondary education curriculum and instruction. But I didn't want to go back to teaching, so I decided that I would continue at the University of Alabama in more of an office role, working as a coordinator in marketing. And then I decided that I was going to branch out, and I interviewed with Greg. And so I'm very excited about the consulting world. It's definitely something different from being in higher education or secondary education or even in an office setting, because you get to work with different companies to make them more efficient, to help them out in the needs and ways that they may be lacking in or not have the staff to cover those roles. So working in consulting is a whole different world. It's opened up kind of a different way of thinking for me, because you have to compartmentalize in your brain and be able to put together, okay, for this business I need, they have marketing needs, and for this other business they have needs on social media or with sales, and a different business may have something else, and they're all different avenues of businesses. We work with healthcare, and we work with small business marketing, and we work with technology, like different apps that are available for people. We work with the websites that they have, the marketing needs that they have. So it's a lot of fun to branch out and do something different every day. You never know what needs will come up for that business and how you're able to help them.
Yeah, definitely. So you met Greg through this, like you applying and stuff?
Yes. So
Okay.
I did, and it's an interesting, COVID opened up a totally new way of communicating through Zoom and online and working remotely. And so I met Greg while we were interviewing for the marketing role for REQ. And I actually, because I had just finished a master's, I met him through Handshake. I applied through
Mhm.
Handshake and found the job on Handshake, just like most of our other employees that we have. But because I had a lot more experience and a few more degrees than the other employees that we have and interns, that's why it worked out for me to not just be in the marketing role and oversee the marketing team and help out with that, but also be the COO.
Yeah, that's a good step up to have from the initial, job listing.
Yeah, definitely.
So could you describe a typical day of like in your role of being COO of REQ Consulting? Like, what does your day-to-day look like? I know you said that it kind of differs each day, but your basic roles that you have on a daily basis.
Right. So chief operating officer's responsibility is to make the operations work. So if that is doing something that Greg can't handle on, a meeting that he says, okay, I've got this other meeting, I need you to take over this meeting. I may jump on a Zoom with an employee or somebody at one of the companies that we're working with. I may and that may be with him or on my own, scheduling for the whole company, working out, making sure people are coordinating and collaborating, working together, because with we have different interns that are working on different paths. So with the healthcare company, Wow Health, that we work with, we have interns who work on that marketing, and then we have interns who work with PassPass on their marketing. And then we have the whole other side of REQ, that is the recruiting side. And I don't do a lot with that. We have Alex, the business partner, Greg's business partner, who works on that side of it. And, but we all come together on a weekly meeting on Mondays. We also have sales meeting for our sales team. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for about 30 minutes on those days. And then we have marketing meetings. So I jump around to different teams and different aspects of REQ consulting, as well as working directly with the interns, making sure that everybody feels like they're comfortable in their role and see where we need to pivot to make them more efficient.
Yeah, definitely. So in regards to the experience that you've had in different industries and one similar to this, do you have like some type of strategies that you use to stay updated on industry trends? Or are you just, kind of fully in REQ consulting and, focused on that? Because I remember when I interviewed Alex, I was talking to her about a whole bunch of like recruiting trends that she's noticed and, keeping up to date with how she sees it growing and, progressing in the future. Are there any things that you use to kind of maintain a hold on industry trends, especially for consulting?
Right. So as I mentioned, consulting is a whole different beast. So, we have to be pretty well versed in lots of different industries, not just in working with each other and working, the different generations that we have on our team. And as far as hiring different people who are of different generations and have different ways of communicating and thinking. So I would say, as I mentioned, I just got out of that marketing master's, and that was very eye-opening, as far as the materials and the trends and the best practices that I learned for the different industries and how those function. I also have mentioned all my interns. I have sent out a whole bunch of newsletters that I have found, and those, they could be in healthcare, they could be in general news, they could be financial, marketing, they could be in any kind, you can pick up a newsletter on anything. And those are my best way that I found to see how trends are changing. One of the huge trends that's going on right now, and almost like a battle for the finish line of, who can do it the best and who can stay on top, is AI. And in the recruiting world, it actually has kind of hindered being able to hire the best candidate. And so I know that on the recruiting side, we have to stay up with the trends on that, but also compete with that and make sure that we're doing that in our best way and how we can be the most efficient there. As far as working as a consulting, those newsletters help, because with the different AI that's coming out right now, how is that being used? What are the best ways to use that? What, is that for pumping out material? Is it for, putting out content that is on social media? You can do all kinds of things with AI and different programs that are out there. And so I think that it's really important to look at those different trends that are happening and stay focused on those, and keep those in the back of your mind and see what ways those can help you be most efficient as an employee, and pass those on to other employees and companies that we work with as well.
Right. Yeah. Because there's so many things that, kind of feed into our daily lives that we can use towards, trends and following up with consulting specifically. So going to a little bit of a different side, just wanted to know a little bit of your background, your experiences, things like that. Not an interview, of course, or like not like like I'm not hiring you, obviously. But do you, in terms of like more personal things, like where do you see yourself in like 5, 10 years, either like professionally or personally? Do you have any goals or any things like that?
Right. So outside of REQ, I actually own a lot of rental properties in Tuscaloosa and around Alabama. And so I manage all of those on my own. My husband and I do all the work on them when, we have turnover for moving out and living in Tuscaloosa. We have a lot of students and the student population, you don't want to say transient, but, they come in, they, stay a year or two and then they leave. So that has definitely been a good market for us to get into. I started that because my grandmother always said, even though she owned her own business, the rent houses were what paid her instead of the company paying her company she owned. So I knew that starting out, even as a child, that that was definitely a way to go. And I was able to get into that pretty quick and, bought a house with my brother while I was in college. And then we turned that into a rent house immediately after both of us graduated, and he moved away and I stay here and I manage that for us. I also am starting my own business with my husband. We have been recently very fortunate to be able to join into a company, and we're starting a roofing company. So that's going to help us with our rentals. It's not roofing, traditional roofing. It's not taking off the shingles and putting back on the plywood and the shingles and doing a replacement. It is a business that will renew the roof. So we've called it Nano Renew, and it's in a resale with Go Nano products. So that can be for roofing, concrete, and wood, and they're coming out with new products as well. So in my free time, I run other businesses as well, which is really exciting. But that also ties back into the consulting. How do all the different things tie together that I do and that the consulting firm does, and how can I bring in all of my experiences from those to make the employees more efficient, make us as a company be more helpful to those companies that we work with. So my background, even though I started out in education, secondary education, went to the University of Alabama, now it's kind of turned into something completely different, not anything that I've, have a degree in, but something that I've found rewarding and fun and that I seem to be pretty good at. It involves a lot of sales. It involves a lot of talking to consumers, because we have the consumers of the rent houses, now the consumers of our roofing Renew company, and working with those consumers through the different companies that we are trying to get out there and use in a consulting way through the consulting firm.
Yeah, yeah, and I see how those, skills are definitely transferable through different, endeavors and stuff. And I mean, I know that you've mentioned the rental houses and things like that, but I didn't know about the roofing company. That's pretty exciting. Something to look forward to, and I'm sure it's exciting for you to, kind of see those come to fruition and, success. So that'll be good. Do you have something, it could be, one thing, couple things that drives you both personally and professionally, something, that kind of holds your passion outside of REQ?
Yeah. So, it's a little cliche, but as a mom of three young children, their ages are 7, 9, and 11, my children drive me because, I want the best world for them and I want the best future for them. And anything that I can do to impact somebody positively in their professional career or their personal career to help them out, be there for them, understand, listen, collaborate. I want to do that. And I know even, you're working with us in an intern capacity, but you're also using that for your schooling to be able to finish and graduate. So, I'm a mentor for you and other people on our team who are using this as a credit for school in different schools. So, if you're in journalism, if you're in sales and business or whatever, these it definitely is an internship that you can take and use in different ways. And so, I just want to be there for the generations that are coming up. I know that's a passion of Greg's as well. He talks about how, his generation has messed up a lot of stuff, that, left a lot of messes for us to take care of. And though I'm a generation above your generation, I can still, see how we can make differences, small differences, big differences, on a personal level, and then through the consulting firm as well on a more of a professional level, to impact all the people that we touch. And with the products that and businesses that we're offering and putting out there, having affordable healthcare through WOW Health is a fantastic concept that most people don't know about. We're trying to get out there for people to know about, and so that they can, get that membership to be able to get those healthcare needs taken care of that they wouldn't otherwise have. We're also working with PassPass, and as on the consulting side of it, helping them with the sales and the brand recognition and pumping that out. I mean, it goes live tomorrow, so that's huge that they're a national company that we're working with, and we're finding salespeople all over the United States to get out there and get their brand recognition out there for them and get businesses help. I mean, on the other side of that, we're helping small businesses with marketing because they're able to pump out notifications to the people who are in their area so that they can have discounts at their small businesses. And so those small businesses get brand recognition and they get the marketing that they wouldn't otherwise have. It's also doubles as a loyalty program for them. So we've seen where companies are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for loyalty programs, and they're dropping the loyalty programs so that they can use exclusively PassPass because it's such a great business tool for them. It's a marketing tool for them that's free for the business. So, something that, to get back to your question, that drives me is being able to help other people and make the world better for our future generations, especially my children, in a little bit of a selfish way, to make sure that, they're set up with the best futures possible.
Yeah, I see that for sure. And obviously, I do not know what it's like to be a mom, but I can even imagine, all the things that you have to juggle on a daily basis, and to have, work that you love to do and multiple, businesses and things to keep up with. I totally understand that. So, I mean, and like going on with that point, I am sure that you are so busy and you are doing an amazing job at being CEO. So thank you. So can you think of any other hobbies besides, the things that you listed? I've never been to Alabama before, so I don't know what there is to do, because I remember I talked to Greg and he was like, I love going water skiing and hiking. Obviously he lives in beautiful Lake Tahoe, so I understand that. But are there any hobbies or activities that you enjoy outside of this work and maybe mom life kind of way?
Yeah. So Alabama is called Alabama the Beautiful for a reason. We have all the different terrains. I mean, we don't necessarily have so much desert like he has out there, but we do have mountains. We do have tons of lakes. I live on Lake Harris, and we live right near Lake Tuscaloosa. So we love to go out on the water, go boating, fishing. My husband loves to do competitive fishing. He just fished with my son this past weekend, and so he's getting my son into fishing, so we all go fishing as a family. My ultimate thing that I love to do is dance. So if that means that I'm teaching dance, If it means I'm taking a dance class, if it means I'm dancing in my kitchen, then, while I'm cooking dinner for everybody, then dancing is definitely my go-to. If I hear music, my bones start itching and I have to dance. So, I can be in a public place. It doesn't matter. I'm probably going to be dancing. And of course, our family is very big into going to church and being involved in church and the small groups that they offer through Church of the Highlands and First United Methodist. So we like to keep our family very involved in those activities as well.
Yeah, cool. Oh, that's so fun. And just to wrap it up a little bit, Noah said it was just gonna be a short little interview. But so all of these things, that you are, in control of and work on and are passionate about, how would you say that you stay inspired and creative in your personal life? I know partly because, you're a mom and you want to make sure the life that you give them is really great and for them growing up, but are there any like other ways that you continue to stay inspired in the work that you do?
Yeah. So, I remember this was really hard for me when I was in school, which was a very long time ago, in college and undergraduate and working toward my education, degree in education. And, they said, "What's your teaching philosophy?" And, there was no, we used Google a little bit, but not as much as it's used now back, way when it first came out. And then, we didn't have Chat GPT to just go to and
Mhm.
type it in. What's my teaching philosophy? But
Right.
so I had to come up with something on my own. And, I decided that my teaching philosophy was variety is the spice of life. So, with all the different things that I have going on, I love to stay busy. And that inspires me because when I have something to aspire to, and I have a goal and I have an objective, and I know long term the bigger picture, and I know the fine details or what, where the devil is, that you've really got to keep those and make sure that everything is in order, that all of that going together is a variety that, with another profession that I would not find. And so that's why I kind of have my toes in so many different places, all over, because it's really been, though it's challenging to juggle everything and manage everything, it's very rewarding to see that I have so much going on and I'm able to accomplish that. I love a checklist. I love to
Mhm.
see that I can cross those checklists off, all the different, make sure that I, even just taking the kids to school, making sure everybody's fed, those kind of thing, all of
Right.
that is inspiring to me because I know that I'm accomplishing something and then it makes a difference. So, just having that variety every day, doing something different is really inspiring to me.
Yeah. I definitely think it's so important to have something, outside of your work that you are passionate about, especially, being passionate about the work that you do is such a goal and it's, so inspiring in itself. So that is great. Well, I think that concludes our little interview. Thank you for meeting with me.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, so you'll be seeing the interview on our social medias and things like that. Meet the COO. So yeah, thank you so much, Jackie.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.